Welcome to the Keep the Faith podcast. I am your host, Tori, and I have the one and only J.A.C.E, the Reacher, my special guest today. It's been 2 years since you've been on the podcast the last time. So for those that know J.A.C.E, introduce yourself. You are a living testimony. You're such an inspiration to me. And I want you guys to tell me in the comments whether or not you can hear me okay. But J.A.C.E, introduce yourself and if you want to share your personal testimony.
Oh wow. First and foremost, thanks for having me. I'm Jace the Reacher. I'm a rapper with a positive message, to let you know if God saved me, he could save you. Motivational speaker. I'm an actor, I'm a writer. And basically a young black man that ran from God, went through a lot, and came back out on the other side, realizing that God is the way, he's the truth, he's the light.
Now tell everyone how do you, because a lot of times people want to take you back to who the person that you used to be. How do you stay focused and stay grounded and are able to dominate your distractions?
That's a good question. Two things that I do. One thing that I learned, through my incarceration is spending time in the Word every day. Before I start my day, I put on the armor of God verbally, and I spend time in the Word, even if it's only 5 minutes. So I ground myself in that basically, and I utilize spending quality time by myself. Doing all that time, there's so many different personalities coming at you. So I cherish the times like Jesus when you could just, get away, withdraw, and recharge. So those are two things that I do that really help me. And I also have let's say a good circle where I could bounce things off of people that really care about me and would tell me what I don't want to hear, when I need to hear it.
Well, let me ask you this question. Being an artist, how do you decipher invitations, whether it's something that's going to be beneficial to you or something that you know that's not going to be beneficial to you? Like being able to say no if it's not, where you need to be as far as being an artist, because if the environment is not right, your mind will tell you not to go. So how you navigate through that, making that decision, the invitation, the invites to accept and the invitations not to accept?
That's a good question. I've actually, since I've been home, I've faced situations like that where I was invited out to like club, experiences, and I ended up going to that one. And then there were times where I was invited to, let's say, speak in front of kids, and an inkling in me said, "Don't go." So one thing that helps me is because I stay in tune with God. I can kind of feel it already. You kind of already know when something's not quite right. So I kind of lean on that when I'm making an excuse not to go. I kind of say, okay, God, what is it that you're saying? Why shouldn't I go? Because a lot of times the motives are, I got to speak to the kids, or I got to go here because it's positive. But just because it's positive doesn't mean that's where God would have you to go. So those things help me. Just that feeling in my gut, knowing from the beginning when I hear about an engagement, and spending time with God, and as well talking to the people that I care about.
Absolutely. Now, we before we went live, we said a prayer. In the town of Darlington and Florence, there is a lot of violence that is going on. And I feel like the death angel is just running rapid in the world right now. What do you say? Do you think that there is a connection with the music as it pertains to the violence?
Mhm. Absolutely. There's a connection because life and death, are in the power of the tongue, and we can speak things over our life and not even realize that we're creating bondages. You know, I've seen it. It even happens in Sumter. I spent a lot of time in Baltimore City, and Baltimore City is murder land capital. And I see that even the way that we talk to each other, when we greet each other as friends, the music that we listen to, the things that we do when we're in the clubs, all of these things add up. And I think the main thing is spiritual warfare. But a lot of times we just focus on people. We focus on people as being our enemies, not realizing that it's the people or the spirit that's behind them.
That's important. Realizing that it's the spirit not the person, because that's one of the things that our leaders tell us. Take away the food. It's the spirit. It's not the person, it's the spirit that's operating in them.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to be mindful of that. Now, of course, when I first heard about you, which was probably about 2 or 3 years ago, I was actually watching an interview. You did an interview with Budarat, and that was one of the first times I heard of you. For those that don't know, I'm gonna play one of the songs that introduced J.A.C.E, the Reacher, to me. And that's what I love about your music. It's so positive. But this is one of my songs that introduced me to you. Plus, I may, if you feel up to it, may ask you to do a little freestyle. If I can give you a word and you freestyle, let me see what you're working with, because you good like that. But I'm gonna play part of this song. This first song that introduced me to J.A.C.E is called Inside Your Elements.
Mm-hmm.
Take a listen.
Word.
Who don't like motivation? I believe in you. So should you. J.A.C.E the Reacher. Oh man, this feels special. Feels good.
I love that horn.
I'm 5'5", I will never be a ball player. But let me tell you one thing about your small neighbor. I've been given the gift to reach you with that raw flavor, to motivate you to strive first and talk later. One that breaks the rules the best could be a lawmaker. He saw a technicality on his assault papers. The man that loves fighting and being a jawbreaker could become a boxing legend if he thought greater. But he must be willing to take one across the chin and learn that accepting loss is how you always win. As long as you climb out the hole you have fallen in, you could be the one to help people learn to walk again. You love the hoop, grab the ball when it comes off the rim. Eat, sleep, and breathe in that building we call the gym. How would you feel if by chance you just lost your limbs? Take advantage of your gifts so you should part with them. I witnessed so many people stand up at the scale and ignore that weight class, feeling sad and frail. But within you is where true talent dwells. Keep in mind 1 Corinthians chapter 12. Don't want to look at your life.
Listen, I can listen to that song all day, every day. Now, J.A.C.E, you know, I gotta play one of my favorites. Now, y'all, this song right here this one is near and dear to my heart, because sometimes in life we go through things, we go through the betrayals, and sometimes we hold grudges, but we got to understand that we have to have discernment and we have to truly forgive. But this is another song I absolutely love. It's called No Grudge. Listen to the lyrics.
Nice.
J.A.C.E already know how I feel about this song right here.
Mm-hmm. I love this song.
I survived my
Up there for a second.
I'm still here. I don't hold no grudge. I don't hold no grudge, cause I wouldn't be who I am if I never bounced back from my cold I was. So close to the edge, so straight to the bottom, with nothing left to hold me up. But God had a plan, stood tall like a man, do it all for the folks I love. By only him can my soul be judged. What's up? I don't hold no grudge, cause I wouldn't be who I am if I never bounced back from my cold I was. So close to the edge, so straight to the bottom, with nothing left to hold me up. But God had a plan, stood tall like a man, do it all for the folks I love. By only him can my soul be judged. What's up? I don't hold no grudge. I remember it all. Taking a stroll down memory hall. Pictures of old days pinned to the wall. Benjamin Frank in the gym with my dogs. Hit up the streets for a criminal call. Started so small, then it evolved. Cursing whoever invented the law. Forced me to make penitentiary calls. Wanted to be like Tommy and Chick. Watching them jump in the Bonnie and Dip. Then I saw crack just bombing the strip. Like people be turning to zombies for this. Greedy for money, my conscience was split. By 100-proof liquor and chronic I hit. Was almost a son my mama would miss. I promised the drama was spit. I don't hold no grudge, cause I wouldn't be who I am if I never bounced back from my cold I was. So close to the edge, so straight to the bottom, wasn't nothing left to hold me up. But God had a plan, stood tall like a man, do it all for the folks I love. If only him can my soul be judged. What's up? I don't hold no grudge, cause
Fact. You turn that mic on.
Listen, I was making sure there wasn't no feedback, and I was like, No Grudge is one of my favorites. But y'all was saying you got a new album, and
Absolutely.
let me find the cover so I can show people the cover.
Mhm.
This is the new album,
Activate.
Activate. Tell us a little bit about the album Activate.
Oh, it's a lot. Activate, if you could look at the albums that I put out before, we had The Doors Open, which was a call to action. Let's have a conversation. We had Arise. Now it's time to stand up. And Activate is just like, this is the year. This is the time to actually put forth the effort to walk in the purpose God has given you. It's time to stop procrastinating. It's time to move forward. It's time to activate. It's a special album to me because there's a lot that happened before this album was even conceived. I actually went back to Baltimore City for a while, couple days, and I just went to the spots that I used to hang out at. And I pulled up in my car and I looked at some of the places. I went everywhere, and I kind of like closed the door on the past, kind of forgave myself for certain things, just seeing my younger self out there on the block, out there doing the things that I was doing, and then being in a position where I was able to come back. And I didn't even hop out in certain places. I just pulled up in the car and just sat. A lot of people didn't even know I was there. So it kind of like closed some of the doors for me. So I ended up going home, and I was going through just a lot of just inner turmoil. I didn't even know why I was just feeling this spiritual warfare bubbling in me. And I got to the house, and I was online. I was on Instagram, and one of the producers I deal with, his name's DJ Payne One. We've done some music before, and I was going through the stories, and he had the Activate beat for the Activate song. It was on his story, and when I heard it, it was like the floodgates open. I started listening to it, and I started writing a song right then and there. I was brought up in that pain. I'll elaborate. Took a path I almost went insane trying to navigate. Yeah, you might get caught up in the rain, but it evaporates. Not enough to talk about it change. It's time to activate. And I realized in that moment that my music not only was for others, but it was therapy for me as well. And that is what sparked the Activate. And after that, I got my family involved. They have different interludes. My mother, my two sisters, my brother, and it just became my favorite album thus far. It just became living and breathing from that one song, Activate.
Now, you said something really good about you going back to Baltimore on the streets of your youth. Knowing what you know now, what would you tell your younger self?
I would say to my younger self that it's okay to not have the answers, and it's okay to not fit in. It's okay to be different. Be bold, be courageous, and first and foremost, get God first. That was the biggest issue that I had, is that I knew God was calling me. I could feel it in me. I could see the things that were happening in my life, but I ran from him. And that number one thing of accepting Christ, of getting close to God, getting in that word first and foremost, is what I realized I ran from. And it only made things harder for me. So those are the things that I would say to my younger self.
What would you say to the youth that may say, like when you try to talk to the younger kids about teaching them about God, and they say, I don't want to hear about that. What can you say to them to encourage them to have a spiritual relationship and have a spiritual walk with God? Because everybody's path is different. But if there was something that you could say to encourage them to have a relationship with God, what would it be?
I think that the first thing that I would do, I would go to scripture where it says, Ephesians 6:12, we don't battle against flesh and blood, but against principalities and powers. And I'm going to break down to them things that they can see in their own life about dealing with people, and all of a sudden they're flipping and turning on you. Dealing with loved ones, and all of a sudden things end up, array. Or dealing with their own mindset and realizing there's a battle going on in their own mind. I think that's where I would start at. When you're by yourself, you're not with your peers, you're not with your friends, you don't have the internet. When you're sitting by yourself, what are your thoughts? And what are the thoughts that you believe aren't yours? And then look at it at what is it that you love to do that you would do? I heard this from somebody, for free. What is it that you would do and you wouldn't even have to get paid a dime, but you would do it and you love doing it? And I would tell them to focus on God and focus on that first. And if they can't focus on God, ask them. This is one thing I learned. Ask him. Reveal yourself to me. Reveal yourself. Show me what it is that you want me to do. I would put him to the test. I would challenge him and tell him to come back and holler at me in a month and tell me what did they experience. And I guarantee there'll be forever change.
Well, Jace, I'm going to ask you, do you feel like you can do a little freestyle before I play some of your new music? And I'm only going to play about 2, maybe 3 songs from his new album, because I want you guys to go out and support him and get the album. It is a phenomenal album. Everything Jace touches is amazing. And what I love about it, because I'm going to be honest and transparent. Years ago, I was like, I'm not listening to hip hop, Christian hip hop, but you have made a believer out of me when it comes, because I mean, it's straight positive. And what I love about you is the fact that you never compromise who you are, and you refuse to go back to the old J.A.C.E. That's what I love, because so many times we get around some people from our past and they pull us back. It just shows how strong you are. But if you want to do a freestyle, you're welcome to do a freestyle. I was actually going to give you a word to do a freestyle on, but I was trying to think of a word.
I can always promote the album. I can give you a verse off the album,
Okay.
That's what, I'm J.A.C.E. the Reacher. May this ether flow escape your speakers. You need to know I feed the souls of courageous leaders. We greatness seekers in the field. We don't play the bleachers. And as for all my new supporters, I can't wait to meet you. Let's take it deeper. Word to my mama. Say, hey, Doretha. My father left me with his name and his facial features. I was in South Carolina, innocent and crazy, eager, moved to Baltimore and transformed into a straight-up preacher. In Murderland, they grow up fast like baby cheetahs. You see, our pockets stuffed with cheese, no quesadillas. I've been rapping since I was 10. I ain't faking neither. Still, it took a decade in prison to create this fever. I'm God-inspired, hot like fire like the lady Leah. Check my discography. I flow to motivate believers. I grew stronger through the pain that tried to make me weaker. It's going down. My moment's now. I won't take no breathers. Praise God.
Boy, listen. And I'll play a couple of songs that I downloaded from the song. And I'm going to show you guys the album cover once again. And if you want to purchase the album, you can actually contact J.A.C.E. directly. Can they inbox you on either Instagram or Facebook? Can they also message you on TikTok as well?
You can message me on TikTok, J.A.C.E. the Reacher, Instagram, J.A.C.E. the Reacher, promo J.A.C.E. the Reacher, or Facebook, J.A.C.E. or J.A.C.E. the Reacher. Or you can email me at jacetherreacher@gmail.com. Hey, talk. Hey, I'm listening.
Okay, and this is
that verse. I had to plug in that verse. Promotion.
And this is what the album looks like. It is a very powerful album. And I'm gonna play. Let me see what song I want to play first. Let me see which one I downloaded. Let me see. Let me do. Let me see. My Moment. This song is called My Moment.
Okay, and that's the actual verse that I just spit.
Okay.
Early morning grinding, I'ma play nights. Couldn't wait on it, I had to take mine. Everything that's great take time.
Everything
is my moment. All of them stars in line for me. They say that it's time for me. No, it's my moment, yeah.
I'm J.A.C.E. the Reacher, made us eat the flow, escape your speakers. You need to know I feed the souls of courageous leaders. We greatness seekers in the field, we don't play the bleachers. And as for all my new supporters, I can't wait to meet you. Let's take it deeper, word to my mama, say hey Doretha. My father left me with his name and his facial features. I was in South Carolina, innocent and crazy, eager, moved to Baltimore and transformed into a straight up creature. In Murderland, they grow up fast like baby cheetahs. To see our pockets stuffed with cheese, no quesadillas. I've been rapping since I was 10. I ain't faking neither. Still, it took a decade in prison to create this fever. I'm God-inspired, hot like fire like the lady Leah. Check my discography. I flow to motivate believers. I grew stronger through the pain that tried to make me weaker. It's going down. My moment's now. I won't take no breathers.
I waited my whole life. Early morning grinding, I'ma play nights. Couldn't wait on it, I had to take mine. Everything that's great take time. But this is my moment. All of them stars in line for me. They say that it's time for me. No, it's my moment, yeah.
That's beautiful. And you see my cousin Deborah says, yes, honey, yes.
Thanks, Deborah.
And this song is called Message from the King.
Yeah. It's actually called Chadwick Boseman. I switched it up.
Okay.
It's one and the same.
Okay.
Because he had a movie called Message from the King.
Recognize our paths are chosen. Better prepare for this rap explosion. You know the flow is deep as the ocean. Flood waters fast approaching.
DJ Italian.
Like Chadwick Boseman, get in tune with your untapped emotions. Rest in peace to him, black promotion. Fulfilled his purpose, now that's devotion. Don't crack it open, I'ma knock down the door. More than bars, these are rockets of war. Hip hop for the Lord, deep shots on the floor. Drop so many points, they stop keeping score. And this ain't no monopoly board. On my property store, won't bother with yours. And if I never get any props or awards, I spread this glow like I'm mopping the floor. That's a lot to absorb, gotta stay like a sponge. Wave the baton or take it and run. Cause you never know just how great you'll become if you keep on hiding your face from the sun. The world got a problem with every little thing, but I ain't never been into selling you a dream. Chadwick Boseman, message from the king. Chadwick Boseman, message from the king. The world got a problem with every little thing, but I ain't never been into selling you a dream. Chadwick Boseman, message from the king. Chadwick Boseman, message from the king. And yeah, I know.
Okay, I'm just playing snippets because they got to buy the album, Jace. We can't give it all to them. They got to buy the album.
Right. Y'all gotta go get that. I'm over here vibing. Much love.
And I'm gonna play one song. This is a song that I actually, when I created the flyer for this podcast, I used this song, Forgive My Sins. Oh my God, I fell in love with the song. And then like on his on your TikTok page, the image for the Forgive, oh my God, the images they pulled me in. I'm like, wow, you guys have got to get this album. And it's like for the kids, because like my son, oh my God, he loves your music.
What's up?
He loves your music. He's like, you having Jace on the show? Oh my God. He's like, make sure I be watching. And my cousin says, Deep, how can I get this? Deborah, make sure you inbox him. His album is amazing.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
That's my cousin. What's up, cuz? And I'm gonna play this last song, but you guys got to make sure you get the album. And like I said, not only does it lifts my spirits, but like I said, those of you that have teenagers, they love, like my son loves JACE's music. So like it's good for the younger generation as well. But this, I'm gonna play one more song. But other than that, you guys have got to get the album. This song is called Forgive My Sins.
I love this song.
Life is money, Lord, forgive my sins.
You play that thing in the car? Oh my goodness. Tell you.
Lord, forgive my sins. Every day I pray to you, the war's deep within. Either way, I'm not gonna play with you. It's more than just a dream. And after all I made it through, my story never ends. My story never ends. So Lord, forgive my sins. Every day I pray to you, the war's deep within. Either way, I'm not gonna play with you. It's more than just a trend. And after all I made it through, my story never ends. My story never ends. So Lord, forgive my sins. You extracted me from a lifestyle of blasphemy, not wiped out by tragedy. So I bow your majesty, and I vow to never think twice about who I have to be. Cause you attracted me to you like lighthouses at the sea. When I was looking raggedy with psychopathic strategies, my violent mentality started dying like a battery. You made me well-rounded like the Firestone Factory. That's why I ripped the mic with such audacity. Lord, forgive my sins. Every day I pray to you. War's deep within. Either way, I'm not gonna play with you. It's more than just a friend. And after all I made it through, my story never ends. My story never ends.
All right, Jace, we're just gonna give him just a little bit. You guys have definitely got to get the album. The album is deep. And my cousin said will do. So she's gonna be reaching out to you to get the album.
I got you. I appreciate you.
Yes. Definitely. Make sure you get the album. Let me put the album cover up once again. It's called Activate. And actually, when exactly did you release the album? Was it like was it New Year's Eve?
It was New Year's Eve. It was New Year's Eve. You know, I released it there so we can start 2024 just walking into activation of our gifts and our power. And, you know, just to give you a quick thing, you know, all of those are my siblings. My little brother, that's my mom holding my little brother. That's me looking at the camera. That's my sister Tasha and Angel. And all of them are actually on the album as well. So I know that through their voices, they may be able to reach people that I can't reach. So that's another reason why this album is so special, you know, to me.
Oh, that is beautiful. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness, that's beautiful. So let me ask you this question. So when you're like, I'm pretty sure there are some artists that may want to collaborate with you. How do you navigate with who to collab with? Because, like I said, like when we were talking about environments earlier, you can't collaborate with everyone. So how do you decide? Is it hard for you to tell people no if you know that you don't need to collaborate with this person? How do you do that?
Well, you know, what made it easy for me is before I got home, I received confirmations, you know, with just my personal relationship with God, is that there was a certain place that he wanted me to be before I started collaboration. So honestly, I haven't collaborated with any artist since I've been home. I've had people reach out to me, people that I've known in the past, people that knew the old Jay, and people that know the new me. And I haven't collaborated yet because I'm still waiting on the confirmation from the Father. So I feel like I'm getting close to that point. But as of yet, I've been able to say no because if the Father says it, then I got to go with it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But like I said, much success to you. Because like I said, and this is the thing. Let me ask you this. What motivates you? What keeps you going? Because listen, you always working.
Mm-hmm.
You always putting in the work. So what is it? What is your drive? What is your motivation? What is your why?
Oh man, my why is just remembering all of the turmoil and trauma I caused upon myself and things that I've been through, and just knowing how it feels to be that young, lost Black boy in that jail cell, needing advice, needing encouragement, wondering why I was, intellectual, but wasn't in an environment that actually, nurtured that. All of the things that I went through the hardship so I could be somebody to say, hey, it's okay. No matter what you're going through, God is there to motivate you, to encourage you to be your best self. So that's the main thing to me, is reaching to your soul. That's why, I call myself the reacher, rapper / preacher, but reaching into your soul, the soul of our, human beings, letting them know, like, you're here for a purpose. You're here for a reason, because I know how it feels to have low self-esteem and feel like, my life is over. So that's the main thing. I just want to see us, especially in the body of Christ, be our best selves.
Lord have mercy. There was another question I had for you, but it escapes me. But that was very powerful. That and that's one thing I love about you as well. You have always, let me tell you something. You have always poured into me, and the thing about it, when you would say things to me, you don't understand how much I needed it. Like days where I was feeling low, you said you poured into me something positive, and it lifted my spirits. I never told you that. So let me publicly say that. I appreciate that, because you always have positive. It's like a lot of times when you speak to me, you're confirming things where where I have little doubts. You confirm things for me. So I publicly say thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. It's nothing but God. And you do the same to me. Honestly, to be honest with you, that's another important part of why I understand, like, the reciprocity is better to give than receive. I give myself, but people always hit me up at times when I really need it, because I get discouraged, and I'm a human being as well. And there are times people hit me up and they'll message me, oh man, this song really touched me. You just keep on going. You just keep on, so that is, to me, the essence of it. If we are called to be unconditional, lovers of God, then we have to do the same thing to each other. And that's where it's perfected at. So giving of ourselves is, there's nothing greater than that. Christ gave his life. He gave his life for us. So this is the least we could do.
Absolutely. And Miss Tanya TV says, when people say there's no good music, I know they're just not looking.
Facts. So y'all check her out too. She's an awesome person, Miss Tanya. You know, she has the Black Girl podcast. It's off the charts. She's an incredible.
Yes. Matter of fact, what is it? Tanya, don't kill me, but what is it? Is put in the comments because I don't want to misquote the name. Is the Brown South girl?
Brown South. It's Brown South. That's exactly what
Brown.
it is.
Yes, her and her daughter are phenomenal, phenomenal. And of course, she does. She also does the Noonday podcast, and her and I collaborate on Tuesday afternoons with different topics as well. Tanya is another person that is phenomenal. Like she pours into me. And one thing I can say about Tanya, listen. Tanya gonna tell me the truth if I don't want to hear it. She gonna give it to me with no chaser.
The people you need in your life. She even has the poetry book out, the little black book. It's fire.
Yeah. Yes, definitely go get the little black book. That's see how we promote each other. That's what it's all about. Because so many times that's what a lot of our problem is. We want to promote self, but we don't want to pull nobody else up. We don't have to shut out our light in order for others to shine. There's room for all of us to shine. But like she said though, if you're looking for positive music, you ain't looking hard enough because JACE is here. And like I said, I was introduced to you probably like 2 or 3 years ago. And the person that I met then, you have not changed. And you know, people can be fickle sometimes. People change. I'm telling you, I met the real you. The person the person that JACE is online is the same person that he is in person. He never changes. And he's so humble. And that's what I love about you as well. You're so humble. And like I said, the main thing is that you don't compromise in your music. Now, I'm going to say something that's going to kind of like throw a monkey wrench in the conversation. I just want to know. And we live. So I want your honest opinion. I don't get into a lot of stuff that's going on in the media. But there's one thing that went on in the media that kind of stuck out to me. Because we put our leaders, we hold them to a higher standard. So what is your take on the viral video of the pastor with the walk it out and the swerve? Did you see that clip?
Yeah. William Murphy,
yes.
William Murphy. There's a scripture that always pops up because I'm an artist that I'm not traditional. You know, sometimes I don't even like to be called just a Christian or gospel artist because it puts in a box where other people that are not of that and maybe coming to the flock don't want to hear it because there's this stigma on gospel or Christian. I might come to you and say hallelujah, hallelujah, but a brother on the block just got finished selling his dope. He don't understand what that word means, so I have to come to him differently. And I feel like with that situation, when Paul was talking about I became all things to all men that I might save some. We have to understand that there's a language that we speak that reaches certain people. So I can understand why he did what he did. I can understand why he used something worldly in his church. I get it. I understand. I just think the fact of the matter is just focusing on the fact that, even if you don't like it, we all human. Jesus was the only perfect one. So if you don't agree with it or whatever it may be, it's not the end of the world. Because the things that, we do as human beings, even if somebody doesn't see it publicly, we still mess up every day. So I think the focus is this at the end glorifying God? Can we come and move past this? Can we collaborate and move forward to glorify God? That's the number one thing. Because who I'm reaching, Tori can't reach. And who Tori can reach, JACE can't reach. So let's play our parts collectively. And if you don't agree with it, cool. Some people I love to death. I don't agree with everything that they do. So that's
listen, you answered that perfectly. You answered that perfectly. Oh my God. I love the way you answered that. Because I'm not going to listen, I'm be transparent. Part of me was a little judgmental. Because I felt like it looked too much like the world to me. And that's just my view of it. But I love the way you answered that question. I love the way you answered that question. That was good. That was good. And let me see what Miss Tanya said. Miss Tanya says, I want to see Jace acting more. He's got more in him.
Praise God. I received that. And honestly, there's some things that are coming this year that's going to put me in that same spotlight. So I accept your challenge, Miss Tanya.
And listen, you have actually, speaking of what Tanya just said about the acting, you have been around some of the some legends in the game, because there was a picture. Oh my God, I see his face, but I can't think of. Oh, you got the opportunity to meet one of my favorite, what's it, Clifton Powell. Oh my goodness, that was awesome. I love Clifton, and I love his all the characters he played. Oh my God. He's very diverse. He played many characters. I love it. Yeah, and let me see what Shalana says. Shalana says Jace is such a one-of-a-kind entertainer.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
And you remember, she commented on my post when I shared the flyer that you was going to come on. She said, "You guys got some work to do this year."
Facts. Let's get it done. Let's get it done. This is our season. Speaking of William Murphy, for grace, for favor. What I know. So praise God.
Absolutely. So what can we expect from you in 2024, and actually in the future? What can we be looking out for from you?
You're going to see me on your Facebook, your Instagram. You're going to see me a lot more. You know, the promotion and marketing is about to take a whole nother step. Like I said, this album right here is the one where I feel like I really have, let's say, walked into who I truly am on the outside, because it took years, over 3 years, for me to feel like most of that prison was off of me. So you can expect more promotion, more marketing, to see me more. You can expect to see me acting. And I also have a book that I wrote. And this year, it might be the year, God willing, that I publish that book. Of course, the music is going to keep going. You're going to see more visuals. You're going to see a lot of videos, more interviews, me linking up with people, traveling more, going to the West Coast and things like that. So you can, and shout out to Felicia Anthony and Lee Daniels. They played my music on the radio. My new song Activate on the radio in Orangeburg 93.7. So praise God for that. So you can hear me on the radio. I'm going to be a household name. You can better believe that.
Listen, you already a household name. It's just going to get bigger, be nationwide. Listen, everybody. And like I said, everybody that I talk to, they really love your music. And like I said, because you're such a humble and inviting person, that makes a difference. People know what's genuine and what's not. Trust me when I tell you, they know what's genuine and what's not. So I want you guys to make sure you support him and pick up the album. And Shalana says, yes, claim it. Absolutely. We touching and agreeing. We're touching and agreement. So everything, like I said, I just wish you much success. And like I said, 2024, it's not going to be another 2 years before I have you on the show. I'm gonna have to have you on more occasions throughout the year, when you can pencil me in, because you got to be booked and busy.
I'll always have time for you, always.
I appreciate that. And I'm excited to hear that you have a book coming out as well.
Yeah, I believe this is the first podcast. This is the first time I mentioned that. So yeah, I wrote it. I wrote it years ago, and I ended it off when I exited prison. So it's basically, it's called "To God Be the Glory," Volume 1, and it's basically a compilation of my life and the stories that I've been through, but how God always shows up and how He always showed up in my life to get me to this point that I'm at today. So maybe I have more writing to do, but there'll be a part 2, part 3. We'll see.
Listen, it's coming, because that's what you do. You write. You trust me, more is coming. So let me ask you this: are you in communication with some people that you probably when you were incarcerated with? Are you still in touch with some of those people?
Absolutely. I'm glad you said that. There was a brother that I did time with in Dillon County. His name Dirk Mazo. He actually does Facebook Live. He preaches on Facebook Live. His name is Dirk Mazo. But I was actually there when he got out of prison. Wow. And one thing that I've learned is that, you know, because I did time in the county, so I was able to be around people and talk to people and stuff like that. So my people skills were good. But some of these brothers are leaving out of prison and they're going straight from behind a level 3, level 2 yard to straight into society. So being there to see him get off the prison bus and get in the car with me and just to see what I felt maybe 3-4 years ago, to me, it was so important. And to see him actually out here putting on his suits and doing his Facebook Live, that is definitely a ministry that is very important to me. And I've kept in contact with quite a few people.
It's definitely a ministry. And the reason why I asked that question, because is because sometimes, because like I said, I love how your process, like I said, your story is so beautiful. And the reason why I asked that question, because sometimes, so many times there's people that are released from the physical prison, but they're still locked up in their mind.
That's true.
So that's why I asked that question, because some people, they get out and their mind is still locked up. They're not used to, you know what I'm saying? But I appreciate the fact of where God has brought you from. I appreciate where he's taken you. And trust me, you ain't seen nothing yet.
Receive it. Praise God.
He has so much in store for you. Just don't continue to dominate your distractions. And don't let anyone or anything change who you are. Because like I said, from the first time I met you, you have not changed. You are a genuine person. You're very authentic. And people realize that. That's why they got nothing but love for you.
I appreciate
so
that.
So just keep on doing what you're doing.
I won't stop. I can't stop. I can't stop.
And we want to promote this album. So let me put the album cover again. It's called Activate. So make sure if you want the album, you can reach out to JACE through social media, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. And what is your email address again?
My email is jacethereacher@gmail.com. You know, if you want the actual album, you know, you want to support, you know, because I am an independent artist, just hit me up and you can get that. We can do the business. But if you just want to go download and stream it, because it is out on platforms, you can do that as well. But either way it goes, you need this in your life. This year is the year of activation for those in the body of Christ and those who are coming. It's time to fulfill our purpose. It's time to activate.
And I'm glad you say that, because not only this year, but I think this is a time we're living in a time where you cannot be what's the word I want to use? You cannot be uncovered. If you know what I mean, you got to have a covering. You can't be walking out here and living recklessly, because I'm telling you, if you out here living recklessly, it's not going to end well for you.
That's true. That's true. And, you know, just to say something, you know, you sparked something where you were talking about the confirmations. And when we talk, remember the audience, just remember that that's the way that the Father speaks. We don't have to always continuously get confirmations day by day by day. But when he brings something up once or twice and somebody else comes and says it to you, he usually speaks in that manner. You can look in the word, you know, things happen twice. Sometimes it's going to happen fast. So just remember that the confirmation you get 1, 2, 3 times coming from different places, go to the Father, ask him if that's for you, and move forward in that. Don't keep asking, because faith without works is dead. And for those that diligently seek him, he rewards those.
Absolutely. Man. And Corey is in the building. What's up, Corey?
Great man, Corey Thompson. He's an incredible brother, great motivational speaker, great host. Y'all go book him today. I can't wait to see y'all interview.
Listen, they have an event coming up, and that's what we're going to be talking about. Him and Dominique have an event coming up on January 27th. So I am actually looking forward to that interview, because let me tell you, Corey, listen, Corey, I haven't had a chance to meet you yet.
Oh wow!
But Jay's been telling me Corey is such a great person, so I'm looking forward to it.
He's a powerhouse.
And I was actually looking at some of the posts, and I can actually already tell that. Mm-hmm. So I'm definitely looking forward. to that interview, and that's coming up on Tuesday. But before we get out of here, I'm also going to ask Jace, what are some of your what are some of your final thoughts, final words, anything, any messages or anything you want to say to anyone that, what message would you like to give the people before we sign off?
Of course, go get the album. You can DM me, let's move into activation season. But one thing I'm learning, because I'm going to be vulnerable and clear about the things I go through as a human being, which is something I think we all should do. That's one of the things is when God puts people in your life, a lot of times you might think it's for one reason, but if y'all are comprehending and talking and you're communicating properly, be open and be vulnerable. It's cool to be emotionally intelligent. There's nothing wrong with a man crying. There's nothing wrong with a woman being tough when she has to. Just be emotionally intelligent enough to speak about how you actually feel. Mm-hmm. Don't allow people to run over you. Is the second thing that I would say. And the third thing is we can't do it by ourselves. I had trust issues growing up, and as me being an independent artist, I'm doing the content, I'm doing this, I'm going, the shows are getting booked through me, all kind of stuff, but it weighs heavily on you. I know the Father called me to, reach the people with this music, to focus on creativity. So he's bringing a team together, and he's brought a team together for me that can do things that I can't do. So remember, you can't do it by yourself.
Oh, Jace, I think you kind of stepped on my toes. Because listen, sometimes I will admit, transparent moment, I will admit sometimes I can be, am I saying this long live? But I can be prideful sometimes. I don't, I love to help people, but sometimes it's hard for me to allow people to help me.
Mm-hmm. Same here.
So thank you for that. If no one else needed it, I needed to hear that.
I'm thankful, for real.
And make sure you tell everyone, repeat your social media handles so that people can stay in contact with you. They may book you, because you guys, it's very important for us to support independent artists. They do everything. So it's very important that you support them. So repeat your social media handles and ways that people can get in contact with you.
Thank you. Thank you. You can check me out at J.A.C.E the Reacher on Instagram, or promo J.A.C.E the Reacher. DM me. I'll answer back. Check me out on Facebook, J.A.C.E the Reacher, or JACE And I'm also on TikTok as J.A.C.E the Reacher. You can email me at jacethereacher@gmail.com. Hey, hit me up. And y'all make sure y'all tap in with Keep the Faith with Tori.
Thank you, Jay. Thank you, Jace. I really appreciate that. Like I said, you always a positive influence, positive, I can always depend on you to lift my spirits. always. But make sure you guys really go out and support the album. Definitely support the album. Matter of fact, question, like, what if there's somebody that want to not only get your latest album, but can they also get your previous albums as well?
Absolutely. Like I said, you can always go on, Spotify, Apple, and Tidal. But if you want to deal with me personally, just support me as an artist, I can send you all of that. I can send you all of my music, the 3 albums. I also have another album that I didn't put out. It's actually a mixtape. It's called Let Me Help You Up. And that's another special one when I first got out of prison that has a lot of good gems on it. So just hit me up and we can, get the business done.
And also, if you have like an event going on and you want a positive positive music for positive artists to come out, book him as well. I want to promote the music as well as if you want him to come to, and then also you said you speak to kids. You can invite him out to kids events to speak to the kids. You can invite him to your local churches. Listen, Jace is that dude.
I appreciate you. And I'm going to come and give you all of me. I'm going to pour my heart out in the performance and just speak and give you what God has given me, because I'm telling you, the only reason I'm here is for y'all. And y'all can also shop with me and get my Advanced Ambition dad hats as well. This is my clothing line, Advanced Ambition dad hats, according to Ephesians 2:10. So shop with me.
Listen, album, music, clothing line. Listen, support my brother, please. And Cynthia just came on. Cynthia says, I'm definitely looking him up on Spotify.
Thank you so much.
And she said, this is awesome. And I know Cynthia personally, so I could send her your information as well.
Please do.
Because you definitely got to get the definitely got to support the album. But Jace, I don't want to take too much of your Sunday,
Oh, I
but
enjoyed
I really appreciate you so much for always coming on. And Karen is my cousin. She says, I would love to have and listen to your music as well. Good luck on your journey.
Thank you so much, Karen. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Same to you.
That is awesome. I'm telling you, you ain't seen nothing yet, Jace.
I
This,
received it.
this is just the beginning. You do know that, right?
Yes, ma'am. I received that.
Well, like I said, I'm gonna let you go, but this has been a wonderful it's but when we get together, it's always good. But I'm definitely
Always.
gonna listen, I'm gonna have you back. We gonna schedule another time to come back on, because listen, it makes no sense that it's been 2 years since the last time you've been on we ain't going another 2 years.
Yeah. Absolutely. Please do. Please hit. Hey, we're gonna get it done. Can't be 2 years.
Absolutely. It's always a pleasure. Well, you guys, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you share this podcast. And if you missed the beginning of the podcast, make sure you hit that replay button and make sure you support Jace. And I'm going to show the album cover one more time before we end the live. This is what it looks like. And he explained that it's his mom. And you say you have 3 sisters?
I have 2 sisters.
2 sisters and a brother.
And a brother, younger brother. That's my little brother in our arms and my mom's arms. That's me looking at the camera, and that's my 2 sisters, Tasha and Angel. All of their voices are on the album. They actually played a major part and play a major part in just encouragement, and as well as helping me decide which beats I'm going to use to send out to the people. So
absolutely. And before I forget, because we're talking about your album, I want you guys to get the album. Tomorrow is Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s actual birthday. And there's also celebrations that are going on tomorrow. So you guys make sure you go to something. Now, these are just some of the celebrations that I know about. I don't know about them all, but I'm going to tell you about 4 or 5 of them that I know of. There's some that's going on in Darlington, Florence, and Hartsfield that I am aware of. So let me find the flyers before we go so we can promote that as well. Because I want you guys to do something to honor Dr. King on tomorrow. Don't just stay off work and I told my son, I said, listen, you're not going to be sleeping in the morning. You're going to do something. Absolutely. Even if I got to make you write a report or something, you're going to do something. But here are some of the events that's going on tomorrow. This is in Darlington, Day of Service, which is at the Darlington Family YMCA in Darlington, 123 Exchange. Let's see. This is in Hartsville at Jerusalem Baptist Church, the annual Martin Luther King Jr. Celebration. Let's see. This is in Florence, 25th annual March celebration that's going on. They're doing a march from 10 a.m. beginning at Shekinah Glory Seventh-day Adventist Church on Oakland Avenue 8. I don't have my glasses on. That's 803, I think, Oakland Avenue. And then after they march, they're actually going to have a celebration at the Francis Marion Performing Arts Center. And they're going to have like dance performances and stuff. And then also big shout out to Minister Derek Bull. He's actually going to be doing a Let Freedom Ring. He's doing a Facebook Live on tomorrow. So if you're not able to physically go to an event, you can tap into, I'm using Jace word, tap in.
Tap in. I promise you I'm going to use that.
Tap in to Minister Derek Bull tomorrow, Let Freedom Ring. That's a Facebook Live that you can tune into tomorrow. And that's 7 p.m. on tomorrow. So make sure you do something to celebrate Dr. King on tomorrow. And before we go, speaking of Dr. King, Jace, what exactly, what would you say, what does Dr. King mean to you? His legacy, what does his legacy mean to you?
I mean, such power and integrity. People have different views and opinions, but I sometimes put myself in those shoes and think about how hard it was for our people back then. For him to stand up, and just the oration of his voice, you could hear the power of God with him. And for him to stand up, so many accolades and things, but he stood in the face of racism and was just so brave and brought people together. He was just amazing person. We'll never ever get another Dr. King. He always meant so much to me, and he should mean so much to our people, regardless of what you believe in.
Absolutely. I love how you said that. Perfectly. Perfect way to end the podcast. You guys, make sure you support Jace with all his music. He has a book coming. You're going to see him on the big screen. He just a jack of all trades. He got it going on. So make sure you look for now. Don't be surprised. Listen, when you see him on the big screen, hey man, I remember he was on Keep the Faith with Tori. I remember him.
Absolutely. And I'll definitely be back. I'll definitely be back.
Absolutely. Well, thank you guys once again for watching the Keep the Faith podcast. Like I said earlier, if you missed the beginning, make sure you watch the replay. Make sure you share the podcast, and I'll probably more than likely I'll try to re-air it as well. But I'll put it in the I'll let you guys know when I decide to re-air it as well. But with that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and thank you guys for all the supporting me as well as Jace. Thank you so much for all the love. And like I tell you at the end of each podcast, whatever you go through in this thing called life, you may bend, but don't you dare break. Always remember to keep the faith. And we're out. Enjoy the remainder of your Sunday. Peace.
Peace.